Maya and Jamie, a beautiful young couple, have been wanting to start a family for what feels like forever. Unfortunately, Jamie's got some health issues that are making it hard for them to conceive. One night, Maya takes a pregnancy test which, to their shock, comes back positive. It's like a dream come true after all the setbacks they have faced. To celebrate the biggest blessing of their lives, Jamie visits a nearby store to fetch some non-alcoholic Prosecco, but is picked on by a bunch of drunkards that he seemingly can't ignore. Being so annoyed by them, he tells them to shut up, which, all things considered, was maybe not the smartest idea. Although he silenced the boys, it made them angry enough to follow him and break into his apartment. Now, how they entered the building and how they broke into his apartment is not shown, as this clearly wouldn't be that easy. We simply cut to Maya in the bathroom while Jamie comes home. Mere seconds later, we hear him being attacked by presumably the same guys he just flipped off. While Maya is in the bathroom, freaking out and calling the cops for backup, she is intercepted by the intruders and used as a punching bag. They even go for her abdomen despite knowing that she's pregnant, which tells you a lot who those people are. On the other hand, we have Jamie, who is completely helpless as he gets brutally beaten up by the leader of the group. Gathering all her courage, Maya gets up with a kitchen knife and points it at the thugs, but finds herself unable to use the weapon against them. Now, before things spiral out of complete control, although it arguably already has, the sound of police sirens force the guys to escape, leaving the couple back in utter shock and distress. Let's revisit this for a second. You are picked on by a bunch of jerks on the happiest day of your life. It shouldn't be that hard to ignore, right? Sure, if those dudes attack you for no reason, there is nothing you can do but defend yourself or escape. But insulting them once you're near the entry door is, well, that's a jerk move too, and probably not a smart idea either. I mean, they could literally prey on you every single day for the rest of your life. You don't want people with ill intentions know where you live. Also, how did they get in there anyway? We clearly saw an electronic lock when Jamie left the building. If they followed him, he should have noticed that. In fact, common sense says, make sure the door closes behind you if you're followed by a bunch of criminals. Anyway, 8 months have passed and our protagonists still struggle to forget the traumatic event. Luckily, Jamie has inherited his Aunt Maeve's home in the Irish countryside, which allowed them to leave. The couple is welcomed by Nia, who is quite cooperative and nice to them, but she has a bombshell to throw at our characters immediately. Taking them to the garden with a peculiar door and a small opening, she tells the couple how Maeve believed in the old ways. Every evening before sunset, she would leave a blood offering there. Maeve would leave a little slice of liver for the little people she called Farderic, also known as redcaps. The story is that her husband passed away from pneumonia before their first child's birth, and later the child too died from the same disease. Maeve blamed herself, thinking that it was a punishment from turning her back on the old ways, that she forgot to respect the redcaps. To continue the tradition, Niam wants to visit the garden daily to leave the offerings for the little people. However, it seems like Maya and Jamie are uncomfortable with that, so they promise to do that for her. It's nice to inherit a beautiful house with a garden, but daily blood sacrifices? I don't know about that. Moving to another country is not merely about hearing new stories, it's also about rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty. For Jamie and his partner, it means dealing with the frustrating reality of finding a reliable builder to fix their roof and kitchen. Niam has given them a few contacts, but they are not free until next week. So, after grocery shopping, as a couple steps out of their car to take in the stunning views of Ireland, they stumble upon a family of builders, the Whelans. Just when everything seems to be falling into place, things take a surprising turn. Jamie had found the perfect contractor to fix their house, and all is well until they reveal the name of their contractor in a gathering at Niam's club. A drunk old man, Rory, advises James not to leave his wife alone with the Whelan and his lads, as they won't think twice about taking advantage of his absence. But that's not all. He uses inappropriate language as well that makes Niam promptly kick him out of the club. After apologizing to Jamie for the man's behavior, she asks Maya about the offering. Despite knowing how important it is for Niam and the Ratcaps, Maya has forgotten to leave a piece of liver near the opening that separates her backyard from the woods. If she isn't ready to complete the task daily, Niam wants to take full responsibility. However, after sharing her concerns with Niamh and telling her about her incident in London, Maya finally manages to calm her down. Niamh, who once saw a redcap herself, only wants everyone to be safe here, as those creatures can be evil if they want to. They will be hungry and they will need feeding every single day. Later that day, while Rory is on his way to his house, he comes across a weeping kid in the woods. Or is it? I don't think it is. To help the little kids, the old man comes close to him, only to get attacked by what is actually a redcap. That's right, and you can wonder what might happen next. Assessing whether someone is in genuine distress or just trying to lure you into a trap is not an easy task. There is no right formula for this. You either risk it for the sake of being a good guy or just ignore it for your own sake. Choice is yours. The following morning, Maya and Jamie are abruptly awakened by strange noises coming from their kitchen. It's like a bad deja vu. They freeze in fear and their minds flashing back to the previous incidents they had in London. With their hearts racing and heads pounding, they cautiously make their way towards the noise. Who could it be? A burglar? A ghost? Nope, it's just the Whelans who start their repair today. Now first, breaking into someone else's house is highly unethical, even for work. Secondly, you have scared the hell out of our innocent couple who left their ideal London life for some peace. They freeze in fear and their minds flashing back to the previous incidents they had in London. With their hearts racing and heads pounding, they cautiously make their way towards the noise. Who could it be? A burglar? A ghost? Nope, it's just the Whelans who start their repair today. Now first, breaking into someone else's house is highly unethical, even for work. Secondly, you have scared the hell out of our innocent couple who left their ideal London life for some peace. While Jamie and Maya are out grocery shopping, the Whelans take over the complete house like pigs, eating their food, touching their personal stuff, even stealing their things. Quite a nightmare. Later that same day, the duo visits Aunt Maeve's grave with Father Brendan to pay their respects. As the couple engages in a conversation with the father, it is revealed that Maya's journey to motherhood is more complex than we thought. She had a baby with a man before Jamie came into her life already, but the guy apparently wasn't cut out to be a father, so Maya made the heart-wrenching decision to let go of her unborn child. The experience obviously left a lasting mark on her heart, making her more eager to meet and hold her upcoming bundle of joy. As the conversation proceeds, Father Brendan drops a bombshell. Maeve's daughter, her aunt's child that we thought died because of pneumonia, was never found. Which doesn't make sense, right? So why had Niamh lied? To clear this misunderstanding, or should we call it a strategically designed lie, Maya visits the woman only to hear about Rory's disappearance. While Jamie starts the car to return to their home, Maya asks Niamh why she said Maeve's daughter died of pneumonia instead of just spitting out the facts. It turns out that Niamh didn't want to sound crazy. In fact, she didn't want to scare them away on their first day. Might should have done that though. So where did Maeve's daughter go then? Well, according to Niamh's knowledge, Maeve made a bargain with the Redcaps to save her dying husband. And you guessed it, she paid with her newborn child. After the baby disappeared, she devoted her life to leaving those offerings, keeping the creatures on the other side of the wall, away from us humans. Maya thinks of it as postnatal depression, because that can lead to, child abuse or whatever. However, Niamh claims that Maeve wouldn't harm a hair on her child's head. On their way home, Maya tells Jamie everything she heard from Niamh and stands by her statement that Maeve might have hurt her own kid. But Jamie can't take this. And to be fair, why would he believe that she killed her own daughter, right? If I were Maya, I would have put more effort into the Redcap story and taken the warning seriously and put out some offerings. I mean, be it just out of courtesy, right? Niamh wanted to do it herself if she wasn't up for it, and she declined, so at least she should hold her promise. As the couple reaches home, they're more than enraged to see the brats smoking weed in front of their house. While Jamie engages in a heated argument with the Whelans, Maya finds herself exhausted and in need of a break. But just as she is about to unwind, she is disturbed by the sight of Eowyn peering into the bathroom like a peeping Tom. Maya can't believe the audacity of the man, and she can't help but scream for help. Mr. Combe is called and informed about his children's behavior. To get the couple's sympathy, he uses his wife's death as a shield and tries to portray how he struggled to raise 3 kids without a mother. Alright, our innocent couple falls for it and even allows the family to continue working there. Jesus. Now, there is no definitive rule whether or not to trust someone again after a bad experience with them. But it is essential to consider factors such as the severity of the breach of trust, the steps taken to repair the damage, and whether the individual has demonstrated a willingness to change their behavior in the future. A one-off mistake may be forgiven, but should not be forgotten. It's completely okay for our characters to forgive those people, if they wish to do so. However, to have them continue working on their house is ridiculous. Not only were they warned about those people up front, but now they have even experienced them firsthand. While Jamie takes out his rage on a punching bag, Maya finally leaves the offering, only to see it disappear in seconds. Now, the following day, the builders continue their work, but their unprofessional attitude remains the same, which eventually leads to a heated argument between them and Jamie. After finally putting an end to all this madness, Maya returns to her garden only to hear Molly's bark from the other side of the wall. Thinking that Rory might be there, she opens the door, which had been shut for decades, and begins to look for the old man. In the woods, she comes across the dog, who leads her to a mysterious cavern. But unable to go down, Maya decides to return home, only to stumble upon an upset John, who tries to force himself on her. The next thing we know and see is how she returns home and takes Jamie into the woods to show him John's dead body. Maya tells Jamie how John tried to kill her, but when she screamed for help, the Redcaps came to her rescue. Jamie's initial approach is to soothe Maya's erratic behavior, but her out-of-control actions continue to escalate until he finally loses his cool. He orders Maya to make her way back to the house immediately. Meanwhile, he heads to Neve's pub only to encounter Aisling and Killian. Worried about John's whereabouts, Aisling accuses him of knowing something, but she can't figure out what it is. As Maya is home alone, she is approached by a Redcap who drops off a bag and hurries away. In order to get proof of its existence, Maya snaps a picture before examining the bag, but what she sees inside leaves her back pretty stunned. It's the severed head of John. Things get even worse when Jamie returns home and holds Maya responsible for this brutal act. Even the photos are showing no signs of any Redcaps. Now, encountering an entity is one thing, but having other people believe you is a whole nother challenge. The key, I guess, is to trust your experience, you know? You know what you saw and felt, even if nobody else believes you. Don't let anybody tell you that you are just imagining things or that you need to cut back on the caffeine. Trust your own senses and stay true to your own feelings. The next step is to find someone willing to listen to you without judgment. This can be a friend, a family member, or even a therapist. In Maya's case, I guess it's not the future father of her baby. Now, before Jamie can understand anything, the Whelans arrive out of nowhere, intending to break into the house yet again. They accept that John is a pervert who might have tried to harm Maya, but Mr. Whelan believes that he is the only one to punish him and no one else. While Jamie tries to get in touch with the cops, or anyone else in town, Maya decides to get rid of the head, which is a good idea. As she tries to sneak out of the house, she encounters Aisling on her way out. And to make matters worse, the shopper slips out of her hand, allowing the brat to know where her lost brother is, or where he was. In utter panic and distress, Aisling takes the hat to Mr. Whelan's, igniting the fire of revenge. And let's just say things are getting out of hand completely by this point. Meanwhile, Killian breaks the antenna, leaving Jamie stranded without the means of communication. The poor man tries his best to stay hidden, but the Whelans break into the house, set it on fire, and even break their stuff out of rage. Just when Jamie thinks he is safe, he is approached by Killian from the roof's hole. In an effort to protect himself, he stabs Killian but quickly loses his nerve and breaks down in tears, begging for mercy. Now, with Jave's life hanging in the balance, Maya knows she needs to do whatever it takes to save her husband, even if it means making a deal with the dangerous Redcaps. She offers him anything they desire in exchange for her husband's life, hoping that her offer will be enough to convince him. Now, having heard about Maeve's story, how she did the same thing and her newborn was taken away just about 24 hours ago, this might not have been a smart move, was it? Well, meanwhile, tensions continue to rise as Mr. Whelan demands answer about his son's body. To find a way out of this mess, Jamie reveals everything that Maya had told him, but it doesn't work. Mr. Whelan remains skeptical and refuses to believe the story, convinced that Maya is somehow responsible for all of the chaos that has ensued. When Aisling witnesses Maya in the garden, she informs her father and brother about it, intending to kill her for John's murder. And if that wasn't enough, Maya's water was broken now too, and the baby will be here any minute now. In a thrilling turn of events, Killian's attempts to take out Jamie is interrupted by a redcap who saves the day by delivering multiple stabs to the brat's back. But as Mr. Whelan manages to kill the creature, it becomes clear that there are many more of these dangerous redcaps lurking around. On his way to grab a gun from the van, Killian attempts to fight off another one of those creatures with a cleaver, successfully splitting its brain in half. But it's not long before he realizes he's up against a whole army of redcaps. Meanwhile, Aisling tries to kill Maya and nearly succeeds in choking the life out of her. But just when all hope seems lost, an army of redcaps comes to Maya's rescue, putting an end to Aisling's evil intentions. Meanwhile, Killian meets a gruesome fate at the hands of the redcaps too, leaving back Mr. Whelan completely alone. The once proud and authoritative man is now left with nothing but the devastating aftermath of his family's demise. However, he still doesn't seem to believe in redcaps and thinks of them as people dressed as, just redcaps. Fueled by the pain of losing his children, Mr. Whelan becomes fixated on revenge against Maya. He intends to take the life of her innocent child in retribution. But just as he is about to carry out his cruel plan, a surprise appearance by Molly causes a momentary distraction. At that moment, Maya seizes the opportunity to take control and swiftly ends Mr. Whelan's life with a single shot. The uncertainty of the situation, though, continues to loom over the couple as they find no other choice but to deliver the baby themselves. Jamie quickly ushers Maya inside and prepares for, the birth. The thought of calling for an ambulance crossed their minds, but they hesitated, knowing they couldn't possibly explain the bloodshed in their garden. Despite the tension and stress of the situation, the baby is successfully delivered without any complications. Just when things were finally starting to turn positive, the redcaps, the very people who had just helped our couple, take away their baby as payment for their assistance. However, without losing hope, Maya follows the redcaps and tries to confront them in their hideout. And to her surprise, she sort of remembers the teddy bear in that redcap's hand. It seems like that this is Maeve's child. Instead of accepting her fate, Maya sprints into action and tortures this old woman to death, causing the redcaps to bow before her now. Although she has saved her baby, she is now the top redcap in town, responsible for leading the creatures until the end of time. That's right. We then cut to Jamie witnessing his baby lying unattended on the floor. He leads outside and, sees Maya laughing and drinking blood. Happy family reunion, fellas. And the rest is pretty much history. Thanks for watching, take care, and binge another one.